and welcome everybody back once again to World of Racing. I am back, folks, and I am back from, you guessed it, World of Racing. We are back in California freshly, and I am here tonight to bring you some online action from the World of Racing. We're going to have two locations up against each other tonight, Pasadena and Tustin. And I had the pleasure, as I was just saying, to go down to the Tustin location recently. Massive shout out to John and the folks down there, of course. And I got to meet a bunch of you guys, a bunch of the drivers while I was down there, which was super awesome. And big shout out to all of them, Lee, Michael, and everybody, of course, that I did meet down there. As well as, of course, a few others. So, anyways, folks, we'll get these gloves off as the gloves are ready to come off here tonight for the action. It's going to be two races tonight, one on COTA and one on the Hungaroring. Classic GT3 cars. We're going to be seeing a bit of Lexus and a bit of Ferrari, so some old-timey cars back at it. Well, the 296, maybe not the oldest car, of course. We're using the new model from Race Sim Studio as well, as we, again, just take the gloves. By the way, folks, I wanted to mention before I do take these gloves off, if you do become a member down at World of Racing and do join these member nights and these league nights and things like that, you can find yourself with a pair of these gloves as well. And they're great. I can assure you that, assuming they are in stock. So we got to give a quick little disclaimer. If they don't have any, then, well, sorry. But of course, you can get yourself a pair of gloves if you do head down to any one of the locations, either Pasadena, Tustin, or Kansas City, Kansas. Of course, we're just going to chuck those over there. As we have a stream ahead of us here, of course. I'm not going to be driving tonight, not this time. I did get a race, though, against some of the fine folks down at World of Racing, and getting to race against Andreas, getting to race against Andrew, and all of those drivers, it's insane. Dylan, of course, I got to meet Dylan as well. That's one of the people that was pretty cool while down there. He's very jacked, so shout out to Dylan for being jacked. Goals. Either way, we're going to be getting into the action very, very shortly, folks. Here tonight, as I said, we have two races up ahead of us. And starting off, it's going to be COTA, Circuit of the Americas. Let's talk a little more track when we get down to it, because qualifying is nearly over. Let's head on down. Down here to the qualifying. We get to see the GT3s and some 209s. Andrew up on pole position with Kian behind Dylan, bringing home third, and it looks like it's going to stay that way as he goes clattering headfirst into a barrier. He'll get back out there, but no time to set a lap. Andreas also out on circuit here, sitting in fourth with Chan Young down in fifth. Ryan, sixth. Lee, had the pleasure of meeting Lee, one of the drivers I got to talk to when I was down there. He's sitting in seventh, right now with a 2.210. Donovan down there, Bradley as well, Ahmad, Timothy, Oren, Michael. Got to meet Michael as well. Shout out to Michael here. I'm assuming this is the Michael I met. I did meet two, assuming this is one of them. That's the issue with the name Michael as well. It's a great name. I can confirm, as I do have it myself. But there are a lot of us that you walk into a bar and shout Michael and see how many people raise their head. It's just a bit of an exercise. Michael here, though, he's trying to find a little bit of the limits, and he did. He successfully found the exit of the penultimate corner, and that's not going to help his lap time. In fact, it's going to make it invalid, and with that, a 2:12.0 will not be beat this lap. A 2:19, 2:20. Oh, goodness. Okay, well, he's already crossed the line. It's just because it's over. That's why. Kian, the last driver here, I think, to set a lap, and looks like they're down on their time right now as we come across. It's a 2:09.3, so he does manage pole position there just over Andrew. Dylan down in third. Current margins, though, look at that. 10 thousandths of a second separating Andrew and Kian. Dylan not too far behind Andreas as well. Now, I had the pleasure of racing against both Andreas and Dylan in the same session, and I am not going to lie. It put into perspective, well, A, how good these guys are for one, and B, how slow I am. and I'm not, I mean, don't get me wrong, you know, I had a great time. I was battling, Michael actually was one of the drivers that I got to battle hard and fast with down in the, what were we racing? We were racing AMGs on a track that I don't know. So that was fun. I thought it was a great time. My goal was not to kill anybody, and I think I got away with that mostly. I had a couple minor ding-dongs here and there, but either way, World of Racing, folks, if you guys haven't been down there, I, again, went down to the Tustin location, so I haven't been to Pasadena just yet, but when I was down there, got to go down. They're located in a great spot, by the District. So if you're familiar, if you are down in SoCal, near Tustin, and you know where the District is, and you just so happen to be passing by, head on down to World of Racing, folks. You have the premier sim racing equipment with the best of the best when it comes to the simulators, Hussenfeld pedals, with the Simicube wheel, and as well as, of course, the Sigma Integrale motion simulators, which they're butt kickers. I'm just going to be honest. I didn't realize how physically exhausting this was. So if you're looking for a great time, and a whole lot of time as well, head on down. World of Racing, great spot to be. But here we go, folks. We have two locations up against each other, the head-to-head between Tustin and Pasadena, as always. And tonight, Kian starting us off on the top. Andrew alongside. It's going to be 6 red lights as we get ready to go. Green, 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 and immediately Kian off to a solid start on the way up towards Big Red. Andrew will have a good run, but he's currently looking more behind than he is ahead. He gets tapped, though, from the rear. Bradley, I think, gave him a shove to the inside. Can he gain the position there? No. It looks like Kian clattering onto the rejoin as he takes out the field. I'm assuming we might see a red flag here. Kian somehow managed to stay alive, but that was a dicey incident right there with the drivers just sneaking by the skin of their teeth. Andreas keeping in 4th right now. Ryan is the man that gained the most, up in a 3rd position. Andrew, though, taking the lead early. Now, where did oh, Dylan's in 2nd. That's what I was blind. Where did Dylan go? Dylan's up into 2nd, so he's managed to make up a couple positions early on. Ryan behind Andreas 4th, Kian 5th, Timothy 6th, Donovan 7th, Oren 8th, and Christopher getting sent on in 9th. Lee down to the inside, makes it stick. No, not quite. Going to have to settle in. Oh, no, he does get the move on to Christopher. Now, next up is Oren, just about a 2nd up the road. Lap 1's where you're going to be finding most of the pressure and most of the position side by side right there for Ahmad and Michael. And Michael really not putting up too much of a fight there. Oh, and then goodly so. Ahmad absolutely bottles it at the apex. No, that was Christopher, excuse me. Ahmad is Mr. Consistent. He wouldn't do anything like that. Christopher, a little uncharacteristic mistake there, a bit too much curb, and he has to drop back 2 positions. And oh, he's going for the move there. On to Michael. No love lost between the two. Michael getting clattered into the side panel. And go on board. Unfortunately, the camera angle there for COTA not quite being the best. It's very zoomed in. We'll go right on the dash, though, with Michael and see what it is like out of the horseshoe corner and into turns 19 and down towards the final corner of 20. Michael's getting a really good run here. If he can get that car tilted in just the right way as Christopher goes all sorts of out of shape. Get into the slipstream, Michael. Get on the loud pedal and look to the inside of Big Red. On the way down to the first corner. We're a little too far back. Do we still send it? No. No need. No need. Oh my goodness. We're going to go back into 3rd person because clearly everywhere we see there's going to be moves happening. The mid-pack. This is where the action is. I've noticed that when I was down there at World of Racing. The leaders, they tend to walk away. If you are within P4 to 10, you're going to be in the thick of it. And that was where I found myself when I was down at World of Racing, and I was smiling the entire time. It is so stressful. I haven't raced side by side in about 3 years, so I got to give credit to these guys. The amount of car control that some of them display is truly out of this world. Kian here trying to do exactly that and show us what it's like. He thought about the move on to Ryan, but no dice to be found here early on. He's going to just settle in for the time being and run that slipstream. Though this is going to be the best overtaking spot on the track if he can get it locked up in time. It's a dangerous move, though. Kian making the move onto Ryan down to the inside of turn 12. It's going to be basically, I lose my train of thought. Kian, he does get the move done, but that was pretty much the move that we saw from Alex Albon. Was it on to Fernando Alonso? Who was that on to? I'm trying to think of who that was, but immediately the fight back from Ryan. A cut to the inside of the horseshoe and a cut to the inside once more. A little bit of bumping and banging as Kian gets a hip check, but no positions lost. He keeps on to third, but this is allowing Dylan and Andrew to walk away. Ryan, he wants the positions, he wants the pace, but he can't unleash it. He's got a roadblock now ahead of him. And Kian, he doesn't want to go anywhere. Well, forward. Whoa, Ryan, late on the brakes and almost into the back of Kian. Andreas says, thank you very much. I'm going to be taking this position if I can help it. Kian, not giving Ryan, not giving it up, but he's going to have to concede the inside line, and Ryan should have to hand this over. Andreas to the inside. The momentum in the hands of Ryan. He's actually going to defend this. Andreas, maybe a bit of a hesitant move there as he just got on the brakes a slight bit too early. Ryan holds on. Andreas gonna have to settle in as we go into the S's now. Timothy looking a little bit further behind, 3 seconds. Donovan all over him like a rash. Ahmad, same situation. Ahmad behind Oren. This battle between Andreas and Ryan is certainly not going to be going anywhere anytime soon. We'll be keeping an eye on it. I suspect that as we go down towards turn 12, we're going to see another move. Now, I want to update everyone as well on the points. Andrew leading the points into this round. Dylan currently sitting in second, 5 points off the back, and Robert 160 to his name. Now, it might not be updated. I'm looking at this and I can't quite tell as we are on round 4 here, and I only see 3 or 2 rounds on it. Either way, I do see Andreas going for a move onto Ryan, and this time I don't see how it doesn't get sealed. Down to the inside, late on the brakes. Andreas in the Lexus, a little late on the Apex as well, but that'll cover off the inside for the next corner, and he should hold it. He doesn't. Oh my goodness, he doesn't. I'm giving Andreas a lot of credit. He is struggling right now. Andreas, maybe not the most used to this car track combo. Continuing the battle on, though, with Ryan. It is a ding-dong affair, and this is going to open up the eyes of Donovan, I would imagine, as he's 3 seconds behind, but this is going to give him a chance to gain. Now, he's worried about Timothy as well. Lee, in this fight here, we'll keep an eye on. Let's see what Lee has in stores. I don't think he was on the back of this too long ago, and now he's found the rear bumper of Timothy and Donovan. On to the start-finish straight. A good overtaking chance if you're bold enough, but you gotta be bold here on the run. Up the hill. We'll go on board with Lee. He's very far back. I do not think he's going to be getting the move done just yet. But he can dream. He can dream. And that's all it's going to be on this occasion. Back to the Andreas Ryan fight. Ryan ahead, Andreas behind. How long is that going to stay? Well, I was going to say Andreas is about to straight line the S's and change it, but no, Andreas, a very nice guy. He's not going to cheat like that, but we do know the saying, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying, right? No, maybe not, maybe not. Don't listen to me on that one. Either way, Timothy, back in 7th, Andreas, 5th right now. The 2 closest battles, but also, of course, can't keep out Ahmad, Oren, and now Bradley. Michael potentially joining them as well. Bradley making hay while the sun is shining here, the Texas sun. Up in a 10th. Ahmad relinquished to 11th. Michael currently sitting in 12th position with William struggling. Oh no, he's had an incident behind Christopher, gaining a position for free. Now, I feel like every time I take my eye off this Kian Andreas battle, something is going to happen. So we'll take a look back, and oh, it's actually going to be Andreas onto Ryan. My apologies there, as I was going to say Kian on Dylan. Andreas sends it, or Ryan, either way, I think it was Andreas that absolutely sent it. Doesn't get the move done. He's still behind right now, but he is looking hungry. Currently, Ryan, a tasty-looking morsel. Now, can Andreas sink his teeth into him? It's going to have to be the first corner. At least I think. He can maybe make it happen into the penultimate or the second. He's going to try in a couple corners, but I feel like the real only opportunity that we're going to see is that first corner as well as turn 12. Those are your 2 best overtaking chances, turn 12 being the best. No chance, though, this time around. Also wanted to give a shout out, as I know we have, of course, the MX5 League that we do host here at World of Racing and the Members Nights and, of course, all of the others, but got to meet Tim H., the imposter Tim, or no, not the imposter Tim. Tim G is the imposter Tim. There's no Tims out here tonight, but just want to give a little shout out there. Tim, great guy. His daughter also works down there at World of Racing. She's awesome. All the staff, absolutely some of the nicest people on this planet. So again, if you haven't made your way down to World of Racing, head on down. It's in the district in Tustin or in Pasadena, if you guys are around, or Kansas City, Kansas, if that's also going to suit your fancy. But unfortunately, the only two that we have on the track tonight are going to be the two West Coast ones, Kansas City, just in that different time zone. But shout out to all the Kansas City drivers if you are watching. Lee, oh, here we go. Side by side. On the way down towards turn 11, this is normally not where you want to make it. You want to wait till you get to 12, and this, I think, is I'm about to show you why. Lee goes deep, compromises his exit, and now he has about 0.75 miles of waiting for somebody to go to their inside. Lee covers the line, though, but not enough. He's leaving the gap. The barn door is open. Now, are the horses going to get out? No. This time not. Timothy. Discretion being the better part of valor. I think he senses the weakness right now in Lee, and he's just waiting to strike like a viper. Whenever there's going to be a mistake, that's when I think we're going to see the move. Oh, but the mistake is from Timothy almost. A lovely little save right there. Now, with those Sigma Integrale motion simulators, you're going to feel that. That is something that I did notice, especially when you're going the undulations, the uphills and downhills. It really does feel realistic, I have to say. I'm normally not a big motion simulator guy. I've used them in the past, but the Sigma Integrale ones, they are something else. Lee looking to make a move now onto Donovan. Donovan looks weak through the final corner. No, actually, he got a great launch. A very strong run, but I think Lee with the slipstream is going to try to take advantage. He pulls out very early. Now just has to go late on the brakes. He does, but did he go too late onto the brakes? Attacks the apex with vigor, and a little bit too much so. Runs wide, and Donovan says, "Thank you very much. I saw that coming every day of the week." And he holds the position. Lee, a little overly exuberant, and Donovan just using that discretion to his advantage. Now, haven't checked in with the fight for third, or second. Dylan, under pressure from Kian. Gonna have to use those muscles to get that car around this circuit, and very quickly, but Dylan clobbers the curb. That's gonna be a terrible exit. Thankfully, Kian saw the line that Dylan was taking and said that's gonna be a great idea. Then when he got there, he realized it wasn't. Not gonna have a great chance. Dylan's gonna cover the inside line. The slipstream very powerful with these Lexi, and he's gonna go for it. Kian down to the inside. Dylan has to be hyper aware as there's a locking up Lexus in his rearview mirror. Almost sent him into the stratosphere, but Dylan, great driving. He ran deep to avoid the contact, and great job from Kian as well, just to get that car stopped in time. That was very close. I know that feeling. I did that to, I think I did that to Michael. Or was it Mike? Again, we had four mics in the last race that I was there, so not really the most descriptive name. But I think it was Michael or Christian? I think it was Christian that actually sent it on. Either way, that's a previous race. I'm still excited about the race that I did. I'm excited about this opportunity, though, for Kian as Dylan drops the ball. He closes the gap, though. Very dangerous right there. Dylan walking the car kind of over to the line of danger, and now, well, he got a good exit, but was it good enough? Kian is a absolute dog going for the move into the inside. He will not take no for an answer, but right now it's not about the fight, or rather it's about the defense. Dylan, currently the Great Wall of Hilger is what I would have to say. The new 8th wonder of the world. He cannot get past. But one thing I do notice is that gap to Andrew certainly has extended as a result of all of this vigorous defending. He has gone, well, 6 seconds behind now. I just saw a change in position as well, as it looked like Lee got by Timothy, and I'm wondering if there was a mistake there, because it seems like a bit of gaps already formed. Andreas on the back of Ryan. Keep an eye on this one for right now. I do not want to take my eyes off of that Kian fight, though, because I know it's going to happen, and if anywhere is going to happen, it's going to be right here. Looking in the background at the other cars. Oh, that's a great exit for Andreas. He might actually have him here. Keeping an eye, though, on Dylan for now. Kian to the outside this time. Dylan's going to have the defensive line, but if Kian can stay alongside for long enough, it will turn to the inside after a while. He does. He gets a good run now into the horseshoe corners. I do not see how Dylan is going to be able to defend this other than carrying a tremendous amount of momentum and hoping he can wait till the inside comes back to him. And that's exactly what he does. A brilliant display of car control from Kian, or from Dylan, able to just defend. Very close margins, but Kian is still knocking on the door, and heck, at this point, it's a firm fist banging on the door, and it's going to be saying FBI open up really soon. In fact, is this the chance? No, Kian looking for... Oh, he is looking to make a... trying to force Dylan into a mistake, and that's exactly what he did. Dylan caught looking backwards, and this time, Kian, you better get this one done. It's butterfly in a windstorm right now, and he has to make this move stick. He's hesitant on the brakes. No, Dylan is going to have a good enough run to keep ahead. My goodness. Dylan has to be sweating like a cow in a burger joint right now. There's no doubt about that. He takes the gamer line as well to defend, and that's going to give him a good run through the S's. Behind, Andreas and Ryan are also scrapping. Ryan is up into 4th now, and Andreas back into 5th. I think they've changed back and forth a couple times. This was the order the last time we checked on it, but these two, the wily coyotes that are out there. But back to Kian and Dylan. This is the show. Right now, if you're Kian, it almost probably feels like you're wrestling the ocean. No matter what you do, you try to go for a double leg, you end up in the water. Try to go for a single, you end up not making it work. You go for just a defense, you're trying to sprawl on the guy. It doesn't matter. It's not going to work. This is almost, I don't want to say a futile effort. It's not. It's still a battle for P2, but it feels that way if you're Kian, and the frustration is going to be building. And with that, as we get closer and closer to the last lap, which is approaching us very quick, I sense a send. Now, it's going to have to be full send baseball for Kian, but he needs to be careful that he doesn't drop it like Aaron Judge in the World Series. We all know what happened there. It's not going to work out. Ooh, some battles back and forth from Andreas and Ryan. Now, well, Andreas is ahead of Ryan. Is that going to change as we go back into the penultimate corner? No, not just yet. But on to the final lap we go. And, well, it's anyone's game in the top 4 right now. Kian, this is it, buddy. What do you got? There's one more corner after this one that you can really make it stick. But now would be nice. Down into the braking zone of 1. He's way too deep. That's his best Sum 41 impression yet. Somehow kept it locked up and almost between the mayo and the mustard. But my goodness, he came in like a wrecking ball right there. Kian, one more real shot. He's got a couple other chances that he can maybe make it work, but there's one real overtaking zone, and Kian needs to get it tight. He needs to get close on the exit of the S's, and on the way down towards turn 11, he needs to be basically a new license plate of Dylan. As close as you can muster. That is the goal. Let's go on board with him right now. Kian, this is not the time. You don't want to be making the move into 11, but right now, this is actually brilliant. Kian's going to have a good launch if he can just get this car rotated. He hesitates at the wheel. Great squeeze, though. Dylan really making this difficult for Kian. In fact, making it near impossible. Kian, nose to the grindstone. The inside is slightly open, but it'd be a risk. He commits to the outside line. Down into the braking zone. Side by side into turn 12. Kian, can he get it done? Dylan runs him wide to the outside once more, and Kian's been here once, he's been here twice, heck, he's been here about 4 times, but he hasn't seen a mistake like that out of Dylan. But again, Dylan commanding the inside line. It doesn't matter if you make a mistake there, you're able to hold it, or are you? Into the penultimate corner again, holding that inside line, or the horseshoe triple apex. That's a wide line from Dylan, and it really opens the eyes of Kian every time. But what Dylan is doing is he's defending the inside, corner after corner. This time, though, is different. Kian gets the job to the inside. It's a mistake out of Dylan on the final lap. Side by side through the final corner. Dylan gets his foot in it, but it's not enough. Kian takes home second, and with enough time, anything is possible. Ryan side by side to the line with Andreas. Who's gonna take it? It's a photo finish, and Andreas manages to gain the position. Ryan finishes in 5th. My goodness, what a race won. Donovan. Oh yeah, Andrew, by the way, he won. Let's mention that. Okay, moving on from that. That was a dominant victory from Andrew. What a battle throughout the field. Donovan finishing in 6th. Lee finishing in 7th. Timothy 8th. Ahmad 9th. Bradley 10th. Michael 11th. Oren 12th. William down in 13th. And last, but certainly not least, Mr. Christopher here, who had a couple mistakes, unfortunately, out there, but he will take the line. But ahead of my apologies, not last, Chan Young. How did I miss Chan Young? I'm blind. Chan Young, 15th. Holy smokes. Crazy defense. Welcome to Mr. Unfunny. What? I am so glad that you got to catch this live, because holy smokes, folks, what a battle. That was certainly something to write home about. I'm just going to be completely honest. That was very entertaining. And to the line, Christopher, our final driver. He will take the checkered flag. Let's go back to the booth, folks. Welcome, welcome back, as of course, wow, what action. My goodness. I mean, first off, applause to Andrew. Good job, Andrew. You won. Andrew and Kian and Dylan. Holy cow. Those two guys' blood is going to be pumping. Their heart rate probably up to about 160 right now, if I had to guess. Very, very entertaining fight from the word go, and it did not cease. That was good. Don't go anywhere, folks. First off, that was so crazy. That was absolutely insane. If you guys did enjoy that, don't worry, folks. There's more where that came from. There's going to be a slight little break. The driver's having a bit of a cool down, chance to go and get some water, as some of them are going to absolutely need it at this point. But my goodness, what a fight. 2 battles of the century as well. That was, again, of course, between the two, Kian and Dylan, Andreas and Ryan. And Kian was the one that mustered it by after what was an unfounded assault on so many, is legal assault, let's just be clear. But he certainly gave him the run for the money, and Dylan, it took the second to last corner before he cracked. He maybe showed a bit of shakiness on every lap. I don't think there was a single lap that Dylan drove perfectly, but Kian, he forced him into a mistake, and when the going got tough, Kian got going. Hats off as well to Andreas and Ryan. Great little battle between the two of them. It's a shame we didn't get to catch all of that on camera. I would have loved to see it, but I only have one screen and I can only catch, one battle with that one screen, unfortunately. But folks, as I was saying, we will be back. And next up is going to be the Hungaroring. Before we go, course, is the first race to ever take part after the Iron Curtain, and the youngest ever winner here, by the way, folks, Fernando Alonso. At the sprightly age of 22 is when he won here. He was the youngest winner at one point in time. I think that's been changed. But that was back in 03. So that would keep that in mind, folks. That was Fernando Alonso was 22 years old back in 03, and that man is still racing out there. Thank you very much, Mr. Unfunny, for the kind words. Well, folks, we're going to be back shortly. We'll be over in the Hungaroring as we have to take a brief little flight over, and we'll be back shortly. Don't go anywhere. Alrighty, folks, welcome back to World of Racing. Back for round 2 of round 4, race 2 of round 4, however you want to call it. If you guys thought last race was entertaining, a little update for anybody that, of course, unfortunately did miss out on the incredible battles. It was an absolute barnstormer of a time, and I forgot to take a picture of the results. But Andrew, he won by quite a margin, but it was quite the entertaining fight between both, of course, Dylan and, not Andreas. Andreas, of course, took the battle with Ryan. Ryan and Andreas absolutely at each other's throats, but all the way throughout, just some incredible battles from the word go, pretty much. And if you guys are expecting that again, I don't want to say think again, but it's going to be a little more tough on the track that we have coming up. We go from Circuit of the Americas in lovely Austin, Texas, all the way to Mogorod, Hungary. And we head over to the Hungaroring. A great track, by the way. Of course, this is the track that, if anyone is familiar, of course, Felipe Massa's freak accident back in 2009 when he took a wheel nut, or a nut, to the head. And yeah, not that kind. It definitely was not ideal. That was one, of course, seeing the Halo implemented and seeing that. Well, Halo may not have stopped that, of course, but this is a track that is absolutely dominated by none other than Lewis Hamilton, by the way. Lewis Hamilton with 9 victories as of 2023 on this circuit. So this is going to be a dominant track for some, I assume. Andrew in particular, I'm guessing, is going to have quite a good time here. Passing, let's talk about it. It's a luxury. It's tough. First lap, of course, is going to be your best opportunity to make an overtake happen, and we'll be seeing that, I'm sure, from everybody trying to go for it as early and dangerously as humanly possible. That's the nature of racing, right, folks? That's kind of how it often goes. But we'll head down to the track here very shortly. We got another 15 minutes left in qualifying, so plenty of time to see these cars go around this very short circuit, 2.7 miles, 4.3 kilometers, 14 corners, 6 to the right and 6 to the left and 8 to the right. So it's going to be a twisty, windy, tricky track with very few overtaking opportunities. Your best chance really being into turn 1, kind of. Even that's tough. Turn 1's definitely your best overtaking chance, but other than that, you can maybe make a send down into turn 12. I'm sure we'll see it. We'll see if it actually works, though. This is a very difficult track to overtake on, and qualifying is going to be extremely important. So I think it's enough rambling on. I was going to say brambling on. I think brambles are not the right word there. Bramble is a thorn bush? What is a bramble, chat? Let me know. Either way, let's get down to the action. As we get down to it, we can see Donovan. 3rd position right now. A great little qualifying performance underway so far. Lee up into 2nd, but Andrew on pole. Nothing new here. Keep an eye on Lee for the time being, though, as he's seemingly having a good time of qualifying thus far. Question is, can he hang on to it? as I am just... There we go. Lee getting held up a little bit. Not going to help him too much. Let's go on board with Andrew, shall we? Or actually, who hasn't set a lap? Has Dylan set a lap yet? Dylan currently on a lap, so he's about to finish up. Let's, he's midway through the sector 2. What about... where's Kian? Of course, the other head to the great battle that we saw in race 1. Bradley. Also doing a good job. He's currently sitting 3rd. Let's see, though. Andrew, we'll go on board with Dylan. He'll be the next one to cross the line. We'll get a full on-board lap. Let's see what Dylan has, though. This is his first lap that he is going to be setting. Just trying to keep it between the mayo and the mustard. Get a banker lap. As Paul Jeffrey would say, it's very important. It's one of the most important things to do is get a banker lap in, especially on the Hungaroring. It can be the difference between you starting in chaos or not. Dylan, so far, looking quite tidy. Let's go on board, shall we? Through the final corner and on to the start-finish straight. Now, this, folks, is the Hungaroring. Dylan. Enough for second, but still in the 47s. It's a good banker lap, but this is where we push it down into the braking zone. Right around that 75 mark is where you're looking. Get it nice and locked up in time. A 3/10 improvement already. Now into the sweeping turn 1A and down into turn 2. Little deep off apex. You kind of want to compromise the line first off, or in the first part of the corner. That way you can get left on the track and set yourself up for an easy flat out turn 3. In GT3 cars, it's easy flat no matter how you take it. Dylan finding a 10th there in those 3rd and 2nd corners. Now finding another 10th through turn 4 into 5. Good rotation early on the loud pedal down into the chicane. Late on the brakes here, chuck it in, ride the curbs, but you don't want to ride the first curb too much. You really want to focus on the exit. Now, this is where the roller coaster begins. Through turns 8 into turn 9, you really don't get any time to even breathe through these sectors. Nevertheless, relax through the long sweeping left-hander down into turn 10 or turn 11. Rotate it back around now for 12. This is the best, one of the better overtaking chances. Not the best, but a chance to overtake if you are bold enough. And fortune, of course, does favor the bold. And right now, well, Dylan had a very bold sector 2. In fact, he lost all of that time that he gained pretty much. Back onto the accelerator, into the penultimate corner. Now the final. Looks like this lap is going to be a little bit better, but we know there's more in sector 2. Ooh, it's even invalid. This is, well, this is pushing the limits, folks. That's what happens. You end up going and finding them, and then you find them a little too much. Dylan, no improvement on this lap, despite being up 6/10 in the first 3 corners. That's gutting. Absolutely gutting. And that is not an apex, unfortunately, for Dylan either. He might be pushing a little too hard. Now, the beauty is still a lot of time left in qualifying, and these are relatively short laps. Only 146s is what you're looking at, 47s, 48s, all the way down currently to the 53s. Ahmad, well, he's got more pace in him. We know that. Ahmad is Mr. Consistent, but he didn't quite set the best banker lap. Bit of a mistake, you would say. More than likely. Keep an eye, though, on Kian, as he's already into the 46s. He's even looking to give Andrew a run for his money here. We'll go on board with Andrew. And I tell you what, we'll just give you a bit of audio for the rest of this lap. Let's listen to one of these Lexuses around the Hungaroring. Well, this is a bit of a lap to forget for Andrew. Definitely went a bit deep in 11 and then through turn 13. Not quite the apex he was looking for, so he'll give it another good college effort around the Hungaroring circuit. Kian having some back markers, not issues, but certainly having to contend with them. Did it affect his time? I don't think it affected it too much. Seeing a lot of 47s here. 46s are a luxury. Dylan's not too far away. He definitely has it in him. We already know that. It's just, can he execute? As of right now, in Sector 2, currently ahead of Kian on track. Andreas, about a 10th off. Now, that sector time might be a lie. Let's go on board. He's up about 3/10. So he will be improving. He just has to keep it valid. You know, that's a bit of an issue for Dylan on the previous lap, but so far so good. It looks nice and clean into the penultimate, now through the final. One more bit of rotation onto the loud pedal, nice and early. Get those Pirelli P0s to grip on up. And as we come to the line, we're looking at no improvement. Wow. There's so much time to be found here for Dylan, and the worst part is he knows it. That is not going to help him find any time. That's going to help him invalidate, in fact. Now, this is the frustrating kind of beast of these cars, of course. This is where you start pushing the limits and you start getting a little more upset. You start seeing that red kind of, not mist, but haze developing in the eyes, and that can often turn to a mist, which turns into a thick gel that can then turn into a solid wall if you're not careful. As of right now, nobody hitting the walls just yet. The walls are far away. That is the one thing. This track is known as Monaco without the walls, and there's a reason for it. It's tight, it's twisty, it's windy, but you got at least a couple feet before you make it to the barrier. Now, one thing I haven't talked about too much is, I guess I actually can talk about. This is, well, I mean, it's not actually a Lexus, technically, but it's the Race Sim Studios equivalent of the Lexus, which I'm not gonna lie, I don't actually know what this car has in sim, but I do know what it has in real life, and we'll just talk about that. It's got a 5.0 naturally aspirated V8. It's a big ol' V8, and it's loud, it's proud, and it sounds amazing in person if you've never heard it. It's one of the best sounding cars in ACC as well, and I think honestly Race Sim Studios absolutely nailed it as well. It just sounds so grumbly and angry and upset, and it just wants to go fast, but unfortunately the Lexus is kind of old and it's not great. The greatest when it comes to BOP in a modern GT3 sense. No BOPs here. Everybody's in the same car. We don't got to worry about anything fancy. These cars also surprisingly light at 2,800 pounds. Pretty standard for a GT3, but on the lighter side, despite the fact that these things are massive, gigantic Toyotas. But still a Toyota. And I do love me, you know, some Yodas. Who doesn't? Or Lexuses, whatever. They're the same thing. Honda, Acura, Lexus, Toyota, tomato, tomato. All the same. One thing I do know, Kian is not having the same lap time because he's currently getting held up. This sucks. Kian just better back out. No need to keep pushing on here. You might as well just leave whoever this is to their own devices and allow them to set their own lap, and then worry about your own lap on a later date. There's no need to push the issue here, force the envelope, and kind of just ruin somebody else's lap. Your lap's already ruined. You might as well just kind of suck it up, Buttercup. It is what it is. That's not what we're seeing. I would like to see Kian just yield, but I don't think we're gonna. He really needs to, though, like now. There's no reason to keep trying this overtake, because you're just going to mess up your next lap as well as the other person's next lap. Okay, folks. We can learn something here. So, let's learn something together, shall we? So what Kian is doing right now is not ideal. This is going to ruin his qualifying lap and also whoever this is next to them. That gap, though, that was in front of that car back there that just disappeared. Big old lockup into the braking zone. This lap is thrown away. Now, what Kian should have done is just let those other cars go. You see behind that number 12 car, P12 car, whoever that is, it's not Michael. Actually, we're looking at Michael right now, who just got overtaken on. So Michael's lap is now also ruined, which sucks. But he does have, I guess, a bit of somebody to lead the charge. I don't know. Either way, he should have just backed off. Kian had no real need to get that move done. Just fall into the gap that is behind you and worry about your own lap times. You know, it's not that big of a deal. Now both of them are on an invalid lap, so I'll stop beating a dead horse, I guess. Dylan is going to be very thrilled with the fact that these two are absolutely ruining each other's qualifying. No, Michael. Michael's fine. Let me just clarify there. Michael has nothing to do with this. He's just trying to set a lap. Dylan, he's all over the place. He wants to be faster, but he just cannot keep that car, well, kind of planted. It's facing the right direction, but only temporarily. Andreas to the line of the 46.7. So he finds himself in the 46s now, but a little off the competitive pace as Andrew has not just found the 46s, he's looking to exit them and find the 45s. You got a bit of work to do, though, if that's going to be the reality. In fact, why don't we take a look at his lap time? Yeah, not this lap. That's for sure. He'll get one more. Kian does improve. How? I don't know. He got an overtake done on that lap, and he still found lap time. Credit where credit's due. But that one extra tenth that he needs, we all know that was pretty much thrown away with Michael. Now, how did the first few corners go? Not great. Kian's gonna have to... He's gonna have to throw everything at the wall right now, and he's gonna hope it sticks. Dead even with his Delta. Heading into Sector 2. We know that Sector 1 is where the time is to gain. Now, it says that he gained 3/10 again. I don't buy that. I buy what the dash says on his actual car. Kian here, negotiating the curves of turns 8, 9, and 10. And then down towards 11. Ahmad up into the 47s now with a 47.4. Nothing to shake a stick at. A lot of drivers finding themselves in the 47s. So he found a bit of consistency there, no doubt. And it's tight as well. You look at between Bradley and Donovan, near 10 thousandths of a second separating them. About 60 thousandths. Something like that. I can math. I don't think that's right. Either way, not much time is the point. Not much time between the two. Yeah, it's 60 thousandths. I'm just blind. I'm looking at Ryan's time as well. Ryan a 10th off. Timothy about a 10th ahead of Bradley in qualifying. Now over. At least anyone that hasn't started the lap will no longer be allowed to. Anyone that's on a flying lap will be allowed to finish it. Kian, though, I don't know if he's going to be able to. He got to the line pretty close. Andrew, though, into the 45s, and commandingly so. 45.8. Don't see anybody beating that. Andreas, all over the place in Sector 2 there. Did he keep his lap positive? Well, yes, in the terms of stroke play. He's positive there, which is not necessarily great. You want to be negative. We're shooting for golf scores here. Right now, Andreas wheeling the car around. Let's see who's next to the line. It's going to be Christopher. Christopher is next to the line here, currently with a 150.7. Do we get any improvement? Not quite. 150.5. It is. 2/10 found at the very end. Michael, not up next. Who is up next? It's 9, whatever 9 is. 9 is Andreas, apparently. There we go. Andreas, 146.7 to a 146.6. Improvement, but no positions found. Next up, Lee. Man that I got to meet when I was down at World of Racing. He'll be down at the at the Tustin location. I hesitated and I second guessed myself. Down at the Tustin location is going to be Lee. And crossing the line for a 47.1. Not going to improve, and Dylan does on the last lap with a 47 dead. Just enough to improve over Lee. Nearly, what, 60,000 separating them? Kian, he finds second where he was before, but Andrew, the only driver in the 45s. It's looking like a commanding day for the young Andrew. I'm assuming that's Andrew Janis. If it's not, I apologize. But it is, as I know, Andrew. Alrighty, folks. Race session getting ready to go underway very shortly. 20 minutes on the clock, folks. Hopefully, one green flag. Hopefully. But here we go. Let's find out if we're going to have any race restarts or not. 6 red lights coming on, folks. And we are green, 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 and everybody off to a very even start. These GT3 cars, not used to the standing starts. They're normally going to be rolling. Andrew rolling key into the inside. Now, what this is going to do is allow that outside car to sail around, and that's Andreas trying to gain not 1, but 2 positions. He hip checks on Dylan at the apex there. They continue their side-by-side run. Andreas manages 3rd position despite the stellar start. Andrew defends P1. Dylan, though, down the order. Oh, it looks like there's a... okay, I'm assuming... Oh, yeah, we're going to restart. Okay. The driver's getting that little whisper in their ear from the team principal saying, race restart inbound. That's what they sound like, by the way, down in World of Racing. That's whatever. It's not a bot. Anyways, here we go, folks. Let's try again. Re-rack them, restack them. And a grid full of GT3s on a standing start. What could possibly go wrong? Here we go, folks. 6 lights are on. And we are green, green, green once more. This time it's going to be a great start for Kian, and Andrew lagging at the wheel. It looks like he immediately does the exact same thing, though. Covers the inside. This forces Kian to the out. We're about 3 wide into the braking zone. Wide goes Dylan. I think that, no, that's Andreas getting shoved to the outside. That was rather rude. Kian does hold the position, though, as a result. Donovan looks to the inside of 3. That's a bold send, and Kian knows it. Very heads up. Uh-oh. Donovan gets spun around by Dylan. That wasn't ideal. We're still racing. It looks like we're green flag for now. Dylan and Kian, both a little naughty on the start. I think that's to be said. And it looks like car pulling off to the side. Is that going to be a race restart cue? I think it is, judging by the body language. Yeah, we're going to get one more restart, folks. Let's try again. Now, this time, we're looking for a little less naughty action all the way through the field. Re-rack, restack, and go again. This should be the last one, though. Here we go. 6 red lights. Gonna be coming on. Here for the Hungaroring GT3 League at World of Racing. Green flags a go, and this time a very even start for the top 4. Not much movement to be had as well. Andrew covers the inside immediately. That's going to force Kian to the out, and then allow Andreas to get collected again, but this time it's Kian that got taken out instead of Andreas. Now, what happened there? I don't know. Another spinner for the 50 of Ahmad, unfortunately, and we're going to have another race restart, folks. We are going to do, I think this is probably going to be the official last one, is my guess. This is a pinch point, 90-degree hairpin. drivers brake early. In fact, might I even say lift and coast. It's a good strat. But what do I know? Just a commentator. Here we go, folks. Let's try again. 6 red lights. Attempt number 3. As we go. Green, 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 and now Andrew caught sleeping at the wheel this time. Kian, is he going to get a good enough run to get alongside? He is, but he's going to get squeezed big time from Andrew no matter what. 3 wide into the braking zone once more, and this time Andrew gets kicked from the back from Kian. Kian gains the position, but Dylan, what does he have to say? Where did Andrew end up after that? He ended up in 3rd, and he's coming back with vengeance, a little bit too much so. He punts Dylan this time. It's not bumper cars, folks. Yes, these are Lexuses, and yes, they can take a bit of contact, but no, let's not keep doing that. 3 wide on the run down to turn 4. Cover your eyes, folks. Cover your eyes. Donovan and Lee go inside, but no, Donovan and Oren side by side. Oh, this is going to end in not disaster, but it doesn't end particularly well. Donovan to the outside. I think he's going to still try for this position. Oren going to have to give it up, or is he? He's going to settle in. Yeah, there we go. Not really risking the move to the inside of the chicane. Well, who was that? That was Ryan? Ryan and Timothy. Having a little bit of bumping and banging. Back to the front, though. Let's see. Down towards turn 12. Are we going to see the move from Dylan, or the move from Andrew, I should say, onto Dylan? Kian making hay while the sun is up and getting away quite handedly early on. Now, he did punt Andrew, but Andrew knows that. And we'll see what's going to happen as a result. I certainly hope we don't see Mr. Unfunny. That's a great question. So why do we do race restarts? And the reason is of course, everybody down at World of Racing is, well, down at World of Racing and at the locations, and we want everyone to have a good time. So if we have 3 or 4 people getting punted off at the beginning, we're going to restart, right? It's just to make it so everybody has fun, everybody has a chance in this. We don't want somebody just getting taken out at the start. Ideally, we don't have that many restarts, right? That's, you know, once we get up to 4, in fact, I think we had that when I was down at World of Racing. We even had quite a few restarts, and it just gets to the point where they say, hey, we're not doing any restarts anymore, folks. Keep it clean. And then, you know what happens? It's really funny, too, because as soon as they say that, as soon as they say, hey, guys, we're not going to restart the race anymore, it all of a sudden becomes clean. It's almost like the drivers have something to lose at that point, and they realize they should maybe go discretion. Here we go, though. Before we go, I almost had to finish my sentence early because Andrew rubbing a hole in the back bumper of Dylan right now, and he's going to be sweating. There's no doubt. Dylan, I know how good of a driver he is, but right now he has faced pressure after pressure tonight. And he has been the recipient of the chase more often than not. Right now, though, like the mythical Titan Atlas who wore the weight of the world on his back, so does Dylan Hilger, and he just has to keep it up. As long as he can hold the pressure up, that's all that matters. He doesn't need to really look forward. I mean, obviously he would like to gain that position on Kian, but right now, Kian's got some pace, and he looks good on the Hungaroring, it's to be said. Now, Andrew, I was expecting... Wait, where is Andrew? Yeah. Anyways, he's on my... Either way, he's on my screen. Andrew. Gonna be driving with a chip on his shoulder. No doubt about it. Let's see. Is he going to go for the move on the run down to turn 1? It looks like he's going to play it safe on this occasion, but Dylan being slightly defensive. He leaves the barn door open, but that right there is brilliant play from Andrew. He's selling the dummy. Dylan, you got to wake up pretty early in the morning to catch him out of bed like that. But Andrew is just trying to force a mistake out of Dylan right now. Look left, look right. He doesn't want to make the move. He's not actually going to. There's still 15 and a half minutes left. There's nothing to lose right now. Well, the entire motor race if you do make a mistake. But right now, you got to minimize that. Andrew committing to turn 4. No, well, maybe he is actually going for a move. I really can't tell. He's making me think he's going for an overtake. Nevertheless, if I'm in the shoes of Dylan, I don't know what I would be doing. I'd just say, you go, boy, whatever. You're faster than me, but I'm not Dylan, so, you know, maybe don't listen to me, Dylan. Keep it up. Oh, a big slide there from both drivers. I wonder if there's a little bit of contact, I think, into the rear bumper of Dylan, but no harm, no foul. All the drivers, they live to tell the tale and fight another day. Let's look back in the order a little bit. Oren here, chasing down Donovan, but Oren has Bradley, Lee, Ryan, Timothy, all behind him in that order and in this train. Now this is a knife fight in a phone booth right here. Timothy thinking about a move to the racing line. No, that's Ryan going defensive? I don't know what that was. I'm not going to lie. Through the field, though. Ryan's got a long way. Lee also looking to make gains here. We know there's a lot more pace for him. That's a good run, though, for Bradley. Is he going to make the move onto Oren in the final corner? Oh, no! Bradley with a tank slapper. Commentators cursed him. Clatters the barrier. Drops down the order to 10th. You absolutely hate to see it. Lee gains a position for free, says thank you very much. And now Ryan licking the heels. Who the heck has said that? That is a new one. Sorry. Okay, either way. It's late, folks. I'm tired. I've had a long day. Don't lick other people's heels. That's weird. Lee on the back of Oren. Donovan still holding on, but is he holding on by a thread or does he have a firm grasp of a rope here? That I can't quite tell. Are there penalties in this race? Yes, there are actually. So there are going to be penalties for collisions, for track limits, if you do go for a pass off the track as well. Race 2, Dylan had a 3-second penalty given to him for track limits, and Oren passed off the track and lost 1 position as a result. Now, we don't see too many penalties too often, but it can happen. We will punish you if you do go too aggressive. Now, Dylan here, he's really reeled it in. Andrew's gotten by. We missed that. My apologies. But Andrew has gone by. Dylan's still on the back here. And just trying to really stay awake to stay alive. I feel that's going to be Dylan's goal right now, is just make it to the checkered flag. And, especially when you're sliding around like a dog on a freshly finished hardwood floor, you're just not quite gripping, if that makes sense. You're in no traction to be found. It's optional, but you want to find it. These GT3 cars, they love their grip. Whoa, my oh my, who was that? That's Lee. Lee. No, was it Oren? It was Oren or Lee. I couldn't tell who. Going a little bit of an exuberant line. I'm guessing it was Lee because he had a terrible run into the first corner, and as a result, Ryan lick the stamp and send it, buddy. Now the thing is, the package wasn't received yet. Lee didn't get the message. In fact, they make contact at the apex. Now into turn 3, Lee is going to hold the position. A brilliant defense right there. Ryan, I thought he was going to be able to capitalize on the mistakes, but no. He's going to make a mistake himself. And on the run down to turn 4, you do not want to be making a move. Timothy knows that. He's not going to. Very heads-up decision-making. However, a bit of monkey see, monkey do. Ryan runs wide, and Timothy says, "I'll follow you, sir." Not a great idea. Lee repays the favor and runs wide in the next corner. Has to go defensive into the chicane, which is never where you want to be. Okay, let's hand that position back, Ryan. Well, okay. So remember how we were talking about penalties for off-the-track passes? Ryan, I'm assuming, is going to get one. That was bold. If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying, I guess. Either way, that was not valid. Lee gonna be now driving with a chip on his shoulder as well. Everybody gonna be chipping away at each other. A little deep from Lee. I think he's feeling the pressure right now. He's got the pretty much like a submarine. He has the weight of the ocean bearing down on top of him. Fastest lap set by Andrew with a 1:45.8. Holy smokes, that's rapid. That's the fastest lap in qualifying, too. That's literally enough for pole position in quality. That's insane. Lee trying to get the position back on Ryan. I think Ryan, no, didn't give that to him. Lee, with his best sum 41 impression, he is in too deep as well. Immediately loses the position to Timothy. Timothy says thank you very much. And now Ryan has a new opponent to contend with. Now, what does Timothy have for us? I'll be honest, we haven't seen much out of Timothy these past few races. He finished in 8th last time around, and well, just like fate would have it, he's sitting in 8th. He wants to change it, though. You gotta stop the monkey see, monkey do tactics, everybody. If you see someone go deep, try not to follow them. Not like it's gonna fault them. What just happened? Whoa, what just happened? Why is Donovan... What the heck? No, Donovan's not leading this race. I don't know what the timing tower has just decided, but Donovan's in 5th. Yeah, there we go. The timing tower just keeping me on my toes. All of a sudden, I thought Donovan got 5 overtakes in one corner, and I'll be honest, I don't, you know, I was scratching my head a little bit. Ahmad and Michael. Oh no, that's Ahmad. Round is what that is. You hate to see it. Mr. Consistent, not having a great day today. Where did he finish in race 1? 9th? Yeah. Not the results that we expect out of Ahmad. He's came into tonight sitting 6th in the standings with 145 points. In fact, actually tied for 5th with Tim H. And Tim H is not out there tonight. That's a dang shame. Neither Tim's. So not Imposter Tim nor Tim H is on track tonight. Hopefully we see them back stronger than ever. Again, it was a pleasure meeting Tim. Not Tim G. I got to meet Tim H. Great guy. And again, his daughter also works down there, so very, very great family all the way around. Lee. He's fallen off Ryan now. No pace to be found all of a sudden. We'll keep an eye on Oren and Donovan. This is the closest fight on track. We also have Timothy and Lee, though. Can't count those two out. The next overtaking chance will be turn 12. Let's go on board. See what it's like behind the wheel of Oren. One thing you're going to notice is a lot of feedback when it comes to them seesawing at the wheel here, and part of that is due to the fact that World of Racing allows you to change your force feedback on the fly. So if you're somebody that has maybe some more delicate wrists and you don't want to risk getting an injury, then we of course have a spot for you. Or if you want the full-on simulation and you want to be driving a real race car with about 12 Newton meters of torque, give or take, yeah, you can do that. And trust me, you feel it. I did it myself. It is, it's physical. It is almost like wrestling an octopus. I've never done that, but I would imagine it's like wrestling an octopus. Very difficult. A lot of movement, but all the way around, a great time. Oren with a deep line. That's not quite the quickest way around, but it'll get him a good run on the start-finish straight. Not close enough, though, to make an overtake. The battle between Timothy and Lee has separated a lot. 6 seconds. Must have been a mistake out of Tim. Lee now with a bit of comfort window. We'll just keep an eye here on this Oren and Donovan battle. It's closest fight. We'll pay mine to Kian, actually. That's somebody we haven't talked about too much. Finished second last time around with maybe one of the best finishes we've seen at World of Racing. Probably not the best, as we, of course, if anyone missed the MX5 League last week, then you certainly need to go back and watch that finish in race 2, because that might have been one of the closest finishes and most epic battles I've ever seen. Not to say that what we had last race was not epic, because oh my goodness, we had 2 photo finishes, folks. You couldn't script it if you tried. This race, I know I predicted it kind of before qualifying. I mentioned we might not see that close of a finish on this track. And I think I was right, unfortunately. I hate to be right sometimes, but hey, here we are. Bit of a hot lap session up at the front for Kian. Andrew, similar story. He just hasn't been able to get the pace back. Now, I will admit, or I won't admit, but keep in mind, folks, is Andrew is still driving with a chip on his shoulder. Kian punted him early on, and he hasn't forgot. I haven't forgot. Maybe he has. But Andrew, I don't think he's one to forget. He's going to be remembering that, and he needs to close in. That's step 1. Gain that gap back, and then worry about the position later. You still got 5.5 minutes. Plenty of time. Anything can happen in racing, and it normally does. Who is the fastest lap? That was Andrew with a 45 No, yes, yeah. That sounded crazy coming out of my mouth, but no, it's just true. It was Andrew with a 45.8 is who has the fastest lap. Now, we'll keep an eye on their previous lap times when they get around the circuit. Unfortunately, I cannot check those on the fly. But we're seeing 45s pretty consistently, which is absolutely ridiculous, to be honest. Those guys are just that rapid, and oh, holy smokes, Andreas, a near-death experience right there, manages to keep the car under control. That was a Picasso-like performance right there, and a brilliant livery as well. Not that he made it, it's just I love the livery. It's great, nice and blue. Andreas, though, holding on by a thread is what it looks like now. Donovan and Oren still at each other's throats somewhat. More of a force grab, I guess. Nah, that didn't work. Either way, I think now, folks, would be a good time to remind you all. World of Racing. We have three locations, be it. 2 locations racing tonight. One of them down in Pasadena, the other one in the district in Tustin. Also, of course, Kansas City, Kansas. We don't have Kansas City out there tonight due to time zones, as much as I hate to say it. One day, we'll have them, of course. During the 2.4, I think we'll be seeing the Kansas City drivers, so you won't be missing them there, like Oren missed his apex through the final corner. Also, I said I was going to pay attention to lap times on this lap. I didn't. I was rambling. My apologies. We'll have to do it next lap. Oren, I don't know what that was. Half-hearted move that moved the car, really accomplished nothing more than picking up some marbles on the tires. And Donovan, well, not going to be falling for that. I don't think I need to say that one. He had no intention of going for the overtake, did Oren. But keeping Donovan honest, keeping his head on a swivel, and making him think, maybe I will go for that move from 7/10 back. Holy momentum! Oren gains some time. That is a gamer line right there. Says, hold my beer as I go flat out through turn, making his own turn and making his own track. He added a turn 5, pretty much. Turn 5 into turn 6. Call it 4B. He added a 4B. Because, of course, this is one of those tracks that has letters with their corner names. You love to see it. No, you don't. You really hate to see it. Now, chat, are you guys like me? Do you guys like corner numbers, or do you guys like corner names? Because I like corner names. I hate tracks that just have numbers, and this is one of them. In fact, we've gone from 2 tracks tonight that just have corner numbers. COTA being a, 22 corner? No, 20 corner? Yeah, 20 corners, 11 to the left and 9 to the right. And the Hungaroring being a 14 corner track with 6 to the left and 8 to the right. So all of those corner names are named after the number. How original. Now, of course, COTA has Big Red, unofficially named. It has the Horseshoe, again, unofficially named. Has the Arena, again, unofficially named. But Oren making a trip off the circuit. They're exploring track limits, put it that way. He's found them. He is definitely needs to break a little earlier on the next occasion. Now, trying to find this overtake is going to be difficult with 1 lap to go. I don't see Oren getting by without a mistake from Donovan. Either or, corner names are good for memory. See, I agree. Exactly, that's what I think. Especially for a commentator. You know, I look at this and it's like, oh yes, this is turn 5, obvious. No, it's just a number. But here we go. Oren to the inside of the chicane. Oh, I really thought he was going to go for the move there. Dicey. You got to be careful. Let's ride along with him here. Go on the dash. There we go. And there we go. The blood has been spilt in the water, and it's shark infested. Oren, can he find a bite? Oh, a great run here. On the way down towards turn 12, the inside's going to be covered. He has to pick the out. If he can get alongside and keep it alongside, he'll have the inside line after a while. Not on this occasion. Great little defense there from Donovan. A weave left and a weave right from Oren. A bit futile. But here we go. The final lap has begun. Kian has already started it. Oren with a less than ideal line into the corner. Not going to help him. One more lap. Do we have it? Predictions in, folks. I'm going to be honest. I think Donovan's got this. Oren is flopping around like a walleye on the ice of Lake Winnebago, and he is really struggling to keep it on the track. I think even if he does get the pass done, he's going to have to probably use track limits. So it'll be tough. It'll be tough. No doubt about that. We'll keep an eye on it, though, until our leaders come around the final corner. And see if there's a mistake. Oh, there is a mistake. It's from Oren. Now, that's Andreas. What the heck? That's Andreas. Okay. We have a three-way fight. What happened to Andreas? I don't know. He's going very slow, it seems. Uncharacteristically as well. Dylan, 12 seconds up the road. That, normally you see Andreas and Dylan battling head-to-head. You don't often see that much of a gap between the two. Now, Donovan with a bit of light at the end of the tunnel. Is he going to go for it? That I don't know. Let's find out later as Kian is rounding our final corner now. And he's going to take the checkered flag. It's not a photo finish this time, but it is a victory. And he will take a bow as a result. Andrew with a P2. Not a bad result. Finished first in race 1, finished second in race 2. It's a swapperoo of orders. Kian finished second in race 1, finished first in race 2. Dylan finishes third in both occasions. Call it a curse, call it fate. He'll take a P3. Nothing to be ashamed of. Andreas finishes fourth, ahead of Donovan, ahead of Oren in sixth. Ryan, seventh, with Lee behind in eighth. Timothy, no! Loses the position to Michael, loses the position to Bradley. Michael will be the next one to the line, sneaks into the single-digit positions with a ninth place. Great effort. Bradley, is he going to get overtaken? No. He's going to finish in 10th. Timothy in 11th. Ahmad coming around the final corner complex now in 12th. Christopher behind that in 13th. And William with a P last finish, but certainly nothing to be disappointed in. But a shake-up in the order. Where'd Chan Young go? Actually, we don't have a Chan Young out there, do we? Well, hopefully Chan Young has a good night, as I was hoping to see him take the checkered flag. But here we go, Christopher to the line. And William will be taking the final checkered flag. Nice effort through and through. And around the final quarter and to the line. It's a P14. Great job from our drivers, Kian, Andrew, Dylan, Andreas. Very entertaining battles, gotta say. As we hear, we'll go back to the booth. Welcome back, folks. I hope you all enjoyed that. I know I certainly did. That was awesome. Race 1, yeah, talk of the town. I don't think we... look, let's be real. Coming into race 2, I didn't think we were going to get more exciting, because how could you? Race 1 was maybe one of the most exciting races I've seen, at least in a week, at least. But certainly it's up there. It's in my top 5, I would say, of all time. That was awesome. 2 photo finishes. How often do you get that? The answer is really never. A lot of the finishes happen like they do tonight, where you have just sort of dominant drives and some I don't want to say hot lap sessions, but, you know, a little less battling than we saw at COTA, where it was a knife fight in a phone booth from the word go. Very, very exciting through and through. But I have to say, folks, World of Racing never failing to deliver. The drivers, big round of applause to all of them. We thank everybody, of course, for coming down to the locations, whether you're down in Pasadena, whether you're in Tustin, whether you're watching live right now, or whether you're watching the VOD afterwards. We thank you so much for being a part of our little community here at World of Racing, the largest sim center, by the way, in the world. That wasn't the greatest Jeremy Clarkson impression. Let me know how I did. They also, one thing I learned about World of Racing, if you are a Top Gear fan, they have Top Gear on down there at like all times. I recommend that. Just personally, highly recommend it. Yeah, crazy races, but COTA was just insane. Exactly. I think that's the best way to put it. All the way through. Great rounds, but COTA just kind of, it's up there. That was a race right there. My, oh my. Now, folks, I wanted to remind you all, we have a race coming up. It is the 2.4 hours of the Autodromo Internazionale Enzo e Dino Ferrari, otherwise known as Imola. 2.4 hours of Imola on the 20th. Coming up very, very soon. You don't want to miss it, folks. It's going to be fun. It'll be at 2:15 p.m. Pacific. If you guys are available to sign up, that's going to be at all of our locations, I'm pretty sure, including Kansas City, Kansas. So whether you're down in Pasadena, whether you're near the district in Tustin, or in Kansas City, Kansas, you don't want to be finding yourself signing up for that one because it's going to be electric. Let's be real. Imola, folks. Who doesn't want to miss that? But, folks, that's going to do it for tonight. Big round of applause to our drivers for taking the podiums. A big thank you for all the chatters. And yes, Mr. Unfunny, wait, what? Yes, you heard that. It's on 427. It's on 427. Hold up. That needs changed on YouTube. I will message people. Thank you. Thank you, chat. Thank you, C-Trade. Thank you. That is, yes, my bad. The 27th at 3 p.m. till 7 p.m. That is where you want to be. Pretend I didn't say what I just said because that is incorrect. I'm messaging people now to have that changed. At 3. Thank you, C-Trade Legend, for keeping me honest on that one, because yes, I definitely didn't have the wrong thing up on my other monitor. Well, I mean, it's the right thing, but the wrong time. Thank you. Either way, folks, that's going to do it. Now that I've been corrected, we're going to end the stream here off tonight. I hope everybody has a lovely evening, afternoon, or morning, wherever you are in this fine world. Thank you all very much for tuning in. Of course, before I go, big thank you to our sponsors, of course, Sigma Integrale for providing the motion simulators, and of course, everybody else, a massive shout out. But folks, hope everyone has a lovely evening, afternoon, or morning, wherever you are in this fine world. Thank you, and good night.